This third part, to the plane and the beam, I'm going to add a mass. And all three of these need to be intersecting, so I need to think about how this fits on the page. And I'm probably going to put the mass on the right-hand side, just because I have more room there. What I found is generally students tend to push things towards the top of the page, rather than kind of planning things out so that there's a nice balance between the parts. So I'm going to begin this mass. I'm starting with a corner. Again, there's two 30s, a 30 up to the left, a 30 up to the right, and I'm doing that vertical so that those front corners should match. You'll see I've circled where the front corner of my mass corresponds to the front corner of my plane. Now from those two diagonals, I'm going to use my triangle to draw my verticals going up. All three of my verticals should be parallel. Then I'm going to draw from that center corner my 30 degree up to the right and my 30 degree up to the left. Now you'll notice all of these lines are parallel. My verticals are parallel, my lines going up to the right are parallel, my lines going up to the left are parallel. Once that's completed, all I will need to do is then complete that back by flipping my triangle and making the 30 degrees go in the other direction. And one thing that I have not considered by placing this mass in, like I did with the beam, is where this will intersect with that plane. So let's say that I place that intersection, right where these two diagonals meet, and I say that's where it's going to intersect. What that means is that my mass is almost sitting on top of that plane, and just a little sliver of that back end is getting cut out. What I can do is I can move that vertical in a bit, say halfway into the mass. What that then will do, watch whenever I draw this, this 30 degree coming off of that up to the left. Just by moving that line, now my intersection is more towards the middle of that mass. So it looks almost like this block is cut in half by that plane. And that's just a matter of moving where that intersection line is. I moved it from lower to higher up. If you see a corner and you're not sure what to do, there's only a couple directions it can go. It can go vertical, it can go diagonally up to the right, or diagonally up to the left. I'm starting to fill in all of these background lines, the intersections, with my dotted or hashed mark. And now I'm going back through and I'm considering that you really have to think about whether you can physically see the line or not. So this front edge of this plane, I'm changing that from a solid to a dotted line to imply that it is embedded inside that mass. It can be a game where you're looking at every single line and saying, is this a line that I visibly see, or is it something that's hidden behind something else? If it's hidden behind something else, you're going to want to make that into a dotted or hashed line. just for clarity, I'm going to go back through and kind of beef up some of these front lines, and I will be ready to ink this and make it a finished piece.